Good morning. I have 11 o'clock and I will begin our presentation today. My name is Janet Helland and I serve as the Assistant Director of Patron Services at the Granite Family History Center in Sandy. I hope you and all of your loved ones are well in these historic times. Today our class is Fitting Family History into Your Life. I hope whether you are a beginner or a seasoned family historian, you will find a way to begin or enhance your family history experience. A quote by President Joseph Fielding Smith says, "None is exempt from this great obligation. It is required of the apostle as well as the humblest elders or sister. Place or distinction or long service in the church will not entitle one to disregard the salvation of one's dead." So from this, I understand that each one of us should be involved with family history in some way. So with that being said, a few years ago, the church introduced a program called New Family Search. It had the latest and greatest technology, and we were very excited to get started. So my sister and I went to a class, and the woman who presented was so enthusiastic and so just immersed in this new work. She was so excited. But unfortunately, she completely overwhelmed me, feeling like there was no way I could do all that she was telling us that needed to be done. So at that time, I closed my book and I walked home and didn't pick Family Search up again, family history again, until I ran across an article in the Ensign of January 2009 written by George Durant. In it, he describes that he had served on the church family history committee for many, many years, and he had done a lot of research and had been involved with the work for many, many years. And then his assignment was complete, and he went home and decided that he had done his turn at family history. Well, in his ward, there was a temple and family history consultant who approached him and says, "George, you need to be doing some family history." He goes, "No, I've done that. I've been there. I want to paint. I want to read. I want to write," amongst all the other responsibilities that he had. And he said, "No, I've already had my turn." But this consultant kept encouraging him until finally he said, "Okay, I'll do it." But, and this is how he decided he was going to be able to do it. To do family history research, I did not need to give up writing or painting. I just needed to set aside a specific time each week and dedicate it to family history. I decided it was time to give in and rid myself of this lingering guilt. This was just the key that I needed to make me feel like I could fit family history into my life. Just to carve out a little time each week to do it. It's like anything else. When you set an appointment with a doctor or a teacher or work, you make it happen. If you have an appointment at the dentist on Wednesdays at 10 a.m., on a Wednesday at 10 a.m., you go to that appointment. So that's what we did in our family. We set aside Monday evenings from 7 to 9, and we sat there for our 2 hours. We worked on our family history at 9 o'clock most of the time. We closed our book up, made a mark where we were, put it away for the week, and then came back the next Monday. And that's the way we were able to fit family history into our lives. So I can tell you from my own experience that it is possible, whether you have just a few minutes or a little bit more time. Just make an appointment with yourself and fit that into your week. Now, my job today is to give you a lot of ideas. And it may feel like I am dumping the whole load of hay on you, which is probably what I'm doing. But your job today is to find the one thing in all of the ideas that may help you become involved with family history. So listen to the promptings of the Spirit as I'm going through some of these ideas that I've collected, excuse me, and see if you are prompted to do one of those things. And just remember that not one of us can do it all, and not one of us know it all. You just have to begin somewhere. So I've broken down this presentation into time increments, and we're going to start with if you have 10 minutes a day, or 10 minutes during the week even, to do family history. I will give you some ideas that I think you can do in 10 minutes. Well, the best thing to do is start at the very beginning. The first thing to do is to log into Family Search and create an account. Up in the right-hand corner of your screen on Family Search, you're going to see this button called Create an Account, and that's where you will begin. Now, I'm going to give you two excellent resources, especially in times like we have now where we can't be sitting side by side and having the help that we need, maybe from a more experienced family historian or a consultant. I want to let you know that you truly can have that resource sitting right beside you on your computer screen. I'm a big advocate of the Family History Guide. You are going to find any help that you need. And remember, as you get onto the Family History Guide, it may feel a bit overwhelming when you see all the resource available to you. But think of it as a library, that you're going to go in and there's only one book that you need to check out from the library. You're not going to check all of them out. Pull a book off the shelf, get the information that you need, and that's the way to look at the Family History Guide. Also remember that at the top right-hand corner of your Family Search screen, there is a help button. I don't know if you can see my mouse, but here's the help button. And that's going to be right at the top of the corner of your Family Search screen. That's another excellent way to answer any questions you may have. So, speaking of the Family History Guide, if you don't know how to create your account, go to the Family History Guide under Family Search, the Project 1 Choice A, and it will give you a step-by-step on how to create your account. Now, something to remember, to always keep a record of your username and password. Oftentimes when we have people coming into the Family History Center, we have spent a lot of time trying to remember. They've already got an account, but they've lost their username or their password, and it takes quite a bit of time to retrieve that. So once you have established your account, make sure you keep a record of those usernames and passwords. That's really important. Okay, another thing you can do in 10 minutes, when you're on your Family Search home screen, go to your settings, and you'll be able to do that. After you've signed in, you'll have your name up here, and there's a drop-down menu, and these are the menu items that you have. Go to your settings, and make sure that all of your contact information is correct. Fill in all those blanks and make sure that you've got a good contact for email and a phone number if you choose, or an address if you choose. Another great feature that I have recently discovered is Enable Relationship Viewing. This is something that I have found to be really fun. So when I'm doing research in my own family and I'm on a particular individual, I can see that other people have also been working on that family member of mine. And oftentimes I don't know who that person is. But what you can do is you can request that they enable their relationship viewing. And if you have enabled your relationship viewing, then you are able to see how you're related to the person that's also working in the family tree. That has been really fun to make that connection. So go online and under your settings, enable your relationship viewing if you choose to do that. The next thing I would encourage you to do, if you have 10 minutes, go to your Family Search homepage again, go under the Help button right up here, And your menu at the very end is going to be helper resources. If you tap on that, you're going to get this page. Subscribe to the Family Search blog and stay informed of the latest and greatest features that Family Search has made. And also, you'll be able to see what kind of progress Family Search is making. That's been a really fun thing to do, to stay informed of all that's going on there. So 10 minutes there. Okay. Another thing that you can do in 10 minutes is to sign up for a connected account. Now, what a connected account is outside resources to Family Search that can help you do your research and also to create your own family tree. So you're going to go log into your Family Search and scroll down to a place called the Solutions Gallery. And this is what that's going to look like when you tap on LDS Access. So these are the outside resources that you can sign up for. Find My Past, Ancestry, My Heritage, Geniat. So you are going to be able to sign up for those, and it will connect them to your Family Search account. And then you'll be able to use those as additional resource for research and sources to attach to your family. That's another good 10-minute task to do. Now, after signing in, again, at the very top of your Family Search page, you're going to have this called Messages. Another thing to do is just to go over here, tap on Messages, and you're going to get this page. Look at Conversations. Recently, I was able to upload many memories to both my mom and my dad's side of the family. And by uploading those pictures and those documents and those stories, even I found a couple of original poems that were just so precious. I got a lot of feedback from other individuals who were related to me that I didn't even know. And this is where those conversations will populate when they want to reach out to you. Discoveries is also a fun place to go. This past week, of course, they had military records. So any of your family members that had served in the military, you could make that discovery as well. Another fun 10-minute project you can do. All right, also on your home screen on Family Search, you're going to have recommended tasks. I have found that this is also something that you can do when you might be sitting waiting for an appointment, or you're waiting for, well, you know, everything's changed so much now, but if you have 10 minutes and you want to do something in family history, go to your recommended tasks and you'll find that they have quite a few things for you to do. For instance, on this Margaret Hodson, there is a record available for me to attach to her. So you can tap on that. You can compare the records and make sure it's the right person, and then attach it to Margaret Hodson's person page. So that's another 10-minute project you can do. Here's another really important 10-minute project you can do. This is called standardizing dates and places. The reason that we standardize our dates and places in Family Search is that when Family Search has indexed all these records, they do it in a standardized form of dates and places. So when you standardize in your own family these dates and places, it will go out and look for additional records with those same dates and places and the name, and it will bring them into your family member's person page. And it will become a record that you can review and see if you can attach it as another source to your person. So make sure you do that. It's very simple to do. You tap on the date. You can see here that it's 9th of JUN 1927. The standardized version of that is the 9th of June spelled completely out with the year. So the way you do that is you tap in here, and it will bring this up, and then you can add it to there, and it will change it to be the correct standardized date and place. Okay, so there's a few ideas for when you have 10 minutes. We're going to move on now into the 20-minute increments. All right, so now that you've signed up, you will want to go onto your Family Search page, go under Help again, and go to Helper Resources, and that's where you can find out what's new on Family Search. Take 20 minutes and read the new articles, and it will be surprising how much you can learn. That's where I found out about the enabling relationship viewing. Also, this is just what we talked about, what's new at Family Search, but there's also another feature that I've recently discovered called Easy Invitations. When you tap on Easy Invitations, you're going to get this box of opportunities, and it will bring up for you all the members in your ward and what kinds of things that they have available to them. So you have a gentleman in your ward, he's got some record hints. You can reach out to them and say, hey, I noticed that you had some record hints that you need to take a look at. So it's a very easy way of inviting someone else to join you in your family history work. Another thing that I'm a very big proponent of is journal keeping. I believe that journals and history keeping are so important. That's what family history work is all about, is knowing who we are and knowing who we have come from. So in a 20-minute, if you have 20 minutes and you haven't really started a journal and you're very overwhelmed even by the thought of starting a journal, here we are, we're 60 years old or more or less, and you haven't even started a journal, and you just think, oh my goodness, how can I possibly even attempt to write all of this down? One of the best ways that I have seen is to get yourself a binder with some tabs and label each of the tabs parts of your life. For instance, childhood, school days, friends, mission, marriage, schooling, whatever it is that you want to, however you want to organize it, however is best for you. Make a tab for it, put some pages in there, and that will be your 20-minute project, just to get your notebook set up. And then we'll talk about what we'll do with that in just a few minutes. Okay, why do we keep journals? I have this great little video for you to watch to help you understand why.
She taught me that to stay I have to stay in the game. Ela me mostrou que o medo não é a força mais poderosa do mundo.
自分の声を見つけたかったら人の前で歌うことだと教えてくれました。
Sie hat mir beigebracht, dass Gott mich sieht, auch wenn ich ihn nicht sehen kann.
She taught me that solutions are often preceded by patience.
我想跑到别的地方去玩，他叫我要静下心来。Ella estaba ahí cuando las cosas más pequeñas marcaban la diferencia. Она была моей опорой, помогая мне пройти путь, который я не мог пройти сам.
Era là a tenerci uniti, anche se abitavamo molto lontano.
Я хочу, чтобы вы познакомились.
Ich wünschte, Sie könnten sie treffen.
I wish you could tell.
Vorrei averla conosciuta, perché quando alla fine ho saputo di più su di lei, ho capito me stesso.
Okay, so let's see. I think hang on a second. Okay. All right, so some of the ways that you can establish the categories is you can go to an article in the Ensign magazine, August 2003, and say, what happened to you? It gives you some really good prompts in that article, and you're able to write down some of your experiences you've had. So all you have to do is start thinking about school or friends or a vacation, and all of a sudden your memories come back. So this is a great resource if you need a little help. Part of the reason that we keep journals is in an article that I read not too long ago. It was a study done in 2001 by a Dr. Marshall Duke. And they found that the more children knew about their family history, the stronger their sense of control over their lives, the higher their self-esteem, and the more successfully they believed their families functioned. They have a strong intergenerational self. They know they belong to something bigger than themselves. So this, I feel very passionately about journal keeping, and I hope that that might encourage you to maybe continue in your own personal history, or maybe start one for a loved one. Also in the Family History Guide Project 2, Goal 3, that will give you some more ideas. Okay, if you have 20 minutes, add a memory to Family Search. You can do this right from your mobile app on your telephone, on your cell phone. It's such a fun thing to do when you're at a loved one's house, or you're looking through your photos and all of a sudden you see this great photo. This particular photo is a photo of my mom when her parents had made her this dollhouse and given it to her for her 5th birthday. So I took this great picture, and I intend soon to record the memory that she has of this and add it to Family Search. Now, another really fun thing that I have discovered recently is that you can share a memory with your family members. So when you have uploaded memories to your Family Search, and in your gallery, you can sort your pictures into albums. So I have an album for my mom, an album for my dad's side, and once they're in those albums, you can share them with your family, either this way, and then you can also create a slideshow, which is really fun. Okay, so possible duplicates, that's another thing that you can do. When you have 20 minutes, you can just jump on and just take a look at anything that might need to be merged or looked at, or it's really important to merge our duplicate records, because you're creating more than one record of the same person. So to put all of those into one record is really important. I had, when my father passed away a couple of years ago, each of us had created a duplicate record for him so that we could start our own family tree. At his passing, then all of those records had to be merged into one clean record for my dad. I noticed too that they have updated the merging process on Family Search, so you can find that under What's New. Okay, there's also some great instructions on that on the Family History Guide, Project 1, Goal 11. All right, another thing you can do in 20 minutes is plan a family history activity for your family. We recently had this experience. We were able to travel. We braved the airlines and traveled back east to visit our daughter over Memorial Day, and it has become our tradition to visit the graves of our family members on Memorial Day. And since we were away from home, we decided, well, let's do a family history activity for Memorial Day. And, you know, in less than 20 minutes, we had a really fun activity planned that we did execute on Memorial Day. But I had my son-in-law and one of his sons look up on his family tree who had served in the war, and report to us. And then my daughter and one of her sons, they looked up someone in their family tree who had served in the war, and then they reported. And then we had Grandpa give us a brief history of what Memorial Day is all about. So you can see that just that simple time to plan something really becomes something special and precious and memorable. And we don't even have to invent activities. There are so many great resources for us. If you go to the home page on Family Search, log in, and right at the top banner, there's going to be activities. Just click on activities, and they have all these really great resources for you to have really nice experiences with your family. This is a great resource, and I would highly encourage you to use that resource to do family history with your family. An activity can be planned in very little time. Another good activity that you can do is to try to procure a My Family booklet. Now, Family Search does not do a digital version of this booklet anymore online, but you can get them from the church distribution. And it has been one of the goals for all of us to have at least our 4 generations on Family Search. So this is a good starting point for us to be able to accomplish that. Okay, let's go back to the Family History Guide again. They have an amazing library of activities for your family, for children, youth, families. It's just amazing. So go to the Family History Guide on the top banner. You're going to have activities, tap on that, and you will have all kinds of, this is the menu right here. So you'll have all kinds of ideas for your family. It doesn't even have to be invented. It's already been invented for us. We just need to take advantage of this wealth that's available to us. I'll show you a sweet video about this. You can see that doing family history can be very fun. Another feature I'd like to point out to you is on the Family History Guide, and that is the Come Follow Me companion. They have wonderful ideas on there on how you can create a Come Follow Me lesson with a bit of a family history emphasis on it. Really wonderful resource for our families. Okay, let's move on to if you have 30 minutes. All right, so let's go back to our journal. Now that you've got your folder established, or however you want to do it, this is just a suggestion for you. And you've got your paper, got your line of paper in between all of your tabs. Take 30 minutes and write down one of your experiences. say you recently ran into an old friend and it just stirred up a lot of really wonderful memories of that friend. Take a minute to write it down. And this way you don't have to feel so overwhelmed by starting from the beginning. My name is Janet. I was born in February. I had 4 brothers, you know, that chronological that just seems so overwhelming. This way, you're capturing parts of your life as you remember them, and it's written down, and it becomes very valuable and very precious. I know that there are other apps. These are just a couple that I had found a while ago, but I even noticed some more recently that there's a lot of apps on your mobile devices too that you can keep your journal. Doesn't really matter how you do it, just do it. It's such a great thing if that's what you're inspired to do. All right, indexing. Many of you have heard about indexing, some have not. What indexing is the church sends missionaries out throughout all the world, and they're taking images, pictures of records all over the world and collecting them. So what indexing is they make these images available to all of us. And what we do is we extract the information that's on these records and put them into the database. And that's what indexing is. So when you index, you help connect families by typing up historical documents so they can be published online. This effort has produced more than 1 billion searchable records. Just in April of this year, they included 57.2 million new indexed family history records from all over the world. It just becomes such a valuable resource to people who are researching, trying to find their family. I'd like to show you another video that kind of helps explain how important this is. I love that video because it reminds me of a couple of our own experiences that we've had looking for ancestors. And it is just such a thrilling experience to find those records and start piecing together a life of someone who has lived before us and make a connection to them. So if you are unfamiliar with indexing, again, you can go back to the Family History Guide, Project 5, Goals 1 through 3, and you will be able to learn how to index. That's a wonderful way to spend some time. Also, you can learn a new skill. If you're already a pretty experienced family historian, you just like to put another tool in your toolbox. There's so many great places to go to learn how to do more, to increase your skills. Family History Guide is full of them, and you'll be able to find some new things that can enhance your research, your skills, and be very helpful to you and to others. Here's another one that I am particularly fond of, to organize a family fireside. Plan a date where you can invite your parents, grandparent, an uncle or an aunt, somebody who's close to you, and have them share their personal history. So in these 30 minutes, you're not, of course, going to actually do the fireside, but you're going to be able to plan the fireside. We did this with my parents, and it took me 2 or 3 years to finally convince them that this was a good idea. And I'm so grateful that we did it, because my dad's passed away now and his stories have gone with him. But because we did this fireside, his stories live with us now, and it's very meaningful to us. In that August 2003 article that I referred to a little earlier, you'll be able to find a whole list of questions that you can ask them. You know, give them the questions, have them prepare ahead of time so that they can be thinking about things to share with you. We also videotaped and audio recorded our fireside, and then in 20 or 30-minute sessions that you do family history, you can transcribe that fireside, which we have done for my parents' posterity, and everyone has a book and pictures of the fireside that we did for them. It was just such a great experience. I would encourage all of you to do such a thing. From that fireside, I was able to extract some audio from my dad's, his memories. And the audio that I extracted was his testimony, which was very, very sweet for us to do. There's many ways that you can do that. There's, there's software online, there's software on your mobile apps where you can just take a piece of your video and lift or extract the audio from it. Then you will save it as a file. I don't have time to go into how that is done right now. But do a little research on your own, get somebody who's kind of techie and have them help you do that. Save the file, and then you'll be able to upload it, because we can't really upload videos to Family Search. To be able to still hear their voice is pretty special, and to be able to have my dad's testimony on his page right now is very special. So that's another great way to spend some time. Okay, let's chat a little bit about Ordinances Ready. This is a wonderful feature on Family Search. If you get on your home page after you have signed in and go to Temple, go down to the bottom item of your menu called Ordinances Ready. You can access this feature both on your computer and on your mobile app. It will only search your own line, not a relative, so you can't research your own spouse or children or anyone. You have to be signed into your own account. It will allow you to reserve 4 to 5 baptisms, 1 endowment, up to 5 sealings to spouse, or 10 sealings for children to parents. Now, while you can still have a great experience just taking those names to the temple, I would greatly and highly recommend that you go and do a little bit of preparation to take those names to the temple. At the Granite Family History Center, and I know in many other centers, we really encourage our patrons to make sure that their ancestors' ordinances are ready for the temple. The way you do that is some of the things that we've talked about already. Standardize the vital information. Make sure that those dates and places are such that you can receive more sources into that person's page. Attach 2 of those sources to your family member's name. Now, by doing this, I will tell you that I had a very sweet experience when I had received an ordinance for an endowment. I went to that woman's page and found some census records that had not yet been attached. And by doing that, I was able to find more of her siblings that had not been included in the family tree yet. That was such a beautiful experience to find those additional family members. Check for duplicates. Make sure you're not doing a duplicate ordinance. View your relationship so you know exactly how you're related to that person. And if possible, it isn't always possible, add a memory to that person's page. By doing that, you have a sense of who you are taking an ordinance to the temple for. It just makes that experience so much more rich and beautiful. I would encourage you to do that. Although you can still take the ordinances without doing this, I highly recommend that you just take these few minutes and make sure that ordinance is completely ready for the temple and that you have a sense of who you're taking to the temple with you. All right, let's move on to an hour. Spend an hour on Sundays working on family history with your friends and family. Right now we have that time usually on Sundays, and it's a great experience to have with your family. I have working at home with a temple and family history consultant. Maybe you have one of those in your home already. Maybe you can do that by FaceTime or online with one of the members of your ward who's a consultant. Right now we can't meet at the Family History Center, but hopefully when we open again, you'll come and we can work with your family for an hour. It will be wonderful. Just wanted to tell you how you could find out in your ward who is your consultant. If you have the Members Tool app on your phone that looks something like this, click on it and go to Organizations. Under Organizations, you're going to find Temple and Family History. And that will list, when you tap on this, it will list anybody who is a consultant in your ward. Contact that person. I'm sure they would be so thrilled to help you. Okay, you're doing another thing today. You're taking a class from the center, which I am so grateful that you're here. There's many other classes, and also we have recorded some of the classes that you will be able to watch from our website. Excuse me. Okay, many of the Roots Tech sessions have been recorded as well, so I recommend that you can go, and all of them are under an hour. Most of them are around 55 minutes, so it's a great way to learn new skills, brush up on a skill, or just be inspired by these wonderful people who have immersed themselves in family history. If you have an hour, teach someone else how to do some family history once you've now become an expert. And teach them. When we're teaching somebody new to family history, I always like to use the family history guides, so when I'm not there sitting beside them, they have that resource to go to. Okay, let's talk about the box. Everyone, I'm sure, at some point in their life has been handed a box of family history that has had documents, letters, pictures, all kinds of stuff just kind of stored in there of their ancestors. I had this experience this year. A couple of years ago, my mom handed me 3 of these boxes, and it was just chock full of all kinds of papers and pictures, and I just let it sit there forever until I listened to this really great family history webinar called Inherited Family Records, Now What? I put this down here so that you could see it, and if you want to watch it, she's so great at teaching us how to get through those really difficult boxes. She has three key elements to doing this: to sort, store, and share. And I don't have time to go into it right now, but it's doable, because during this quarantine time, I tackled those 3 boxes, and I found some real treasures in there. And I got to know my ancestors so well, and it was just such a thrill to do that. So if you have an hour, well, first of all, I'd recommend that you watch the webinar, because she's going to give you some really great instructions on how to do it. And then just start sorting the next hour, and then store what you're going to keep, and then share it. Put it on Family Search. Share those wonderful treasures, those jewels that you find. Okay, now we have 2 hours. This is when we did our family fireside. We took the 2 hours. They came and they told us their story. It was such a beautiful experience. I highly, highly recommend it. If you have a couple of hours, start doing some research on your family. I find that pulling the fan chart up on the Family Search tree will give you places where you can go to start looking and doing some research. It will show you where the holes are. You can also methodically go through each generation and make sure that everything's standardized, that there's no duplicates, that you've merged any duplicate records. And if you can add memories, do the memories. If you can add some stories, do that. This is a great way to spend a couple of hours in family history. But ultimately, the reason we do all of this is to be able to offer ordinances to our kindred dead. Sister Wendy Nelson said, preserving ancestral stories is important, but it should never be at the expense of completing our ancestors' ordinance work. We need to make time for our ancestors. Ordinance qualifying information. President Nelson said, Elijah came not only to stimulate research for ancestors, he also enabled families to be eternally linked beyond the bounds of mortality. Indeed, the opportunity for families to be sealed forever is the real reason for our research. So, when our temples open again, which we have been told from our conference in this last spring that it will happen again. We're excited for that day. And after you've been able to spend this time doing some research and finding some ordinances to do, a most wonderful, rewarding way to spend 2 hours in doing family history is to perform that ordinance for our kindred dead. Elder Scott said, this work is a spiritual work, a monumental effort of cooperation on both sides of the veil, where help is given in both directions. Anywhere you are in the world with prayer, faith, determination, diligence, and some sacrifice, you can make a powerful contribution. Begin now. I promise you that the Lord will help you find a way, and it will make you feel wonderful. I have a very strong, testimony of this work. I know that Heavenly Father has created so many opportunities for us to be involved If you can't give it 2 hours a week, if you can't give it 1 hour a week, if you're only able to do 10 or 20 or 30 minutes a week, you are helping to move this work along. I recently read an article by M. Russell Ballard, and he was quoting the prophet Joseph Smith, and he said, "Shall we not go on in such a cause?" And I'm so grateful that we have this encouragement and maybe even a little bit more time for some of us to involve ourselves in this work. And perhaps even when our lives get busy again, we'll remember that even 10 or 20 or 30 minutes or an hour of family history a week will enrich and bless our lives and connect us to those who have gone before us. Thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate your time, and I appreciate being able to share with you what I have learned. There are a couple of handouts that I have made with some of the information from my presentation. They look like this, and you can find them again on the Family History Guide. Look at the top menu here and go to Intro. Go to 15 minutes, and you'll be able to find those handouts and some other really great ideas on how you can get started with family history in just 15 minutes per session. Thank you so much for joining us.